Alright, so the first Purge is actually the fourth Purge, because, the Xbox One is actually the third, and Ocean's 8 came out after 11, like, Episode 4 was released before 3. It's just realizing that numbers in movies, they don't matter. This is the chronological order in which the movies should be placed so far, and, they all deal with the annual Purge that only happens in America, where all crime is legal for 12 hours. Not really different from what I personally don't get how it's supposed to release anger, right? Like, that's the purpose of the Purge. But if I was living during this time and throughout that night, my neighbor Miguel tried robbing me and he accidentally sets my house on fire, what am I, just supposed to go to next week's cookout after it's all done and act like nothing happened? Obviously, like many movies nowadays, what once used to be a Blumhouse low-budget thriller is now an American staple that comes out every July 4th. Like, ironically, the first one focused on a rich white family. Now it's on the complete opposite side of the political spectrum. I heard someone actually say on Twitter that these movies were racist Republican propaganda. How? Bruh, I'm a cartoon and even I know better than that. Like, how close do your eyes have to be to get that? Like, this thing incorporates Russian spies into the mix. There's a scene where a random dude in a sewer just
grab him by the pussy.
So they can bring that up. And since I know some of you won't get the subtlety, right? Just in case, the poster for this movie is a MAGA hat. Now, all that said, I personally think it's a renter. I still think that you can put all the political things to the side and still enjoy it for the thriller it's supposed to be, or, maybe even like the political stuff. It's not top tier Blumhouse. I'm not saying it's a great movie, but somehow they found a way to create 5 movies out of 1 in this bad boy. Let me explain. So like I said, there's clearly the political side, right? Like, it's a political thriller type of movie since it takes place in March 2018, and Aunt May over here is this doctor, this sort of like scientist who started up this experiment where they're going to close out Staten Island and pay people $5,000 just to stay there for 12 hours with some Kanye West contact lenses. But the thing is that crime is completely legal for this night in this specific location. And if Al Gore has taught you anything, it's that science and politics, they're always going to intermingle. We then get this conspiracy movie where the government's main motivation isn't, to like figure out the human psyche, but they want to purge out all of the people, right? They want to decrease the population, specifically minorities in certain areas. Now, one, for this Belko experiment, which I don't know, they may combine both of these movies as well, it's obviously meant to weed out all of those people who are going to sign up because they need the money, and then you don't have to pay them because they're going to kill themselves inside. And two, when this actually becomes an annual tradition, it's still aiming to kill the poor people, because it's the poor people who can't afford a fence, much less an ADT $3,000 security system. Obviously, the experiment was supposed to expose how if you put minorities in one location and you give them free range, minorities, they're savages. They're just going to want to kill each other because that's supposedly all we want. And yet, the first thing they do is throw a black party because they're not about that. Obviously, this pisses off the main political dude because, he doesn't want to pay $5,000 to each one of these individuals. He wants them to die. So while there are a few crazies within this world, right? People who are like drug addicts and people who are looting and stuff like that, it turns out, guess what? Not all minorities want to do evil. He finds a way, however, to manipulate and kill these innocent folks out there who are just having a good time by first killing off Marissa Tomei, calling in armed forces disguised as civilians so they can cause a ruckus, and even calls in some Klan members who ride in fighting in their dresses.
If you don't wear them as you ride up, that just defeats the purpose.
I can't see in this fucking thing!
Now, yes, y'all can make the parallels on, this metaphor and the 80s with crack cocaine of exploiting certain areas and manipulating them. There's a whole Nas album about it, but either way, we know that this dude gets his way because the Purge becomes an annual thing. I don't know what stats they go off providing or, proving that stabbing someone once a year relieves stress, but I do laugh at the fact that the Purge movies, it's not just people doing drive-bys or releasing any type of anger. They straight turn into serial killers. You got crazies walking around like Michael Myers. This dude right here looks like Freddy Krueger with syringes. Others look like damn Batman supervillains. Like, how do we go from people committing crimes that listen to, like, say, Takashi, to MF Doom fans wanting to take over the world? We, of course, also have our main group of minorities that we follow throughout the movie. There's this sibling duo, this lady who I personally think she was really funny in the third act. A little too funny because there's people getting mutilated. And then my man from Insecure who went from laying beats to just slaying rednecks in this movie. There's actually a certain point, like I said, where we're going from a political thriller to a horror slasher to a damn action flick where this man turns into Blade, I kid you not. Whole third act is actually him performing a Judge Dredd, going up this building to save his friends. He's pulling a Raid Redemption as he kills these neo-Nazis floor by floor. And there's even like a one take that they do in a stairway where, I'm not saying this is a quality movie, but shoot, sometimes fast food hits the spot. By the end of the movie, the main crew survives, which I don't know if that means they're going to be in another sequel, another movie, maybe the TV show, but so does the idea of the Purge, since all of a sudden killing people is deemed successful. And while this one did get darker, while this one is more political, the movie does end on a positive note, with Kendrick Lamar reminding us that no matter what happens, we gonna be alright. But like, now I understand how the Hunger Games came to be. Thank you guys for checking out this video. I'm curious to know your thoughts down below in the comment section, your theories on where they can take the franchise. Considering that in the, like, they had a post-credit scene when really it was just the credits happening, and then they like break into an announcement for a USA TV miniseries that they're gonna come out with in September, so it's right around the corner. Curious to see what they're gonna do with that. Curious to see is, you know, Belko Experiment, I believe they're the same company, so, I mean, they had the same chick who was in that movie as well. Maybe they'll combine those two, but I'm curious to know your thoughts on it. Did you enjoy just like a thriller? I know there was some people after our screening who were like, yo, yeah, this has to deal with the projects and, you know, guns in the ghetto, as the movie showed. They're not from Lil Ray Ray, they're from the government. There's a lot to talk about in this movie, so I'm curious to know your thoughts on it, what you're looking forward to. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll let you into my annual Purge party.